Secondly, I know that when I'm forced out beyond where I can touch, I won't drown because I've been taught how to swim. I've been so blessed to have the education that I've had. I've not only been taught academically, but I've also been prepared for life. Now, my education wouldn't be what you call the traditional education. No, it was a lot different. For example, I never really went straight through a curriculum. It was a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Most of the time, my work wasn't graded, and I didn't have an exact schedule of how many school days and how many vacation days. There wasn't really a line between the two. Everything was a lesson. Instead of school being my life, life was my school. If we went to the store, that was a lesson in shopping economically. If we had to fix up a rent house, that became educational. And also, Mom needed us to. Everything was a lesson. For the longest time, I didn't even know what grade I was in. And you know that's the second most popular question for someone to ask a kid. First, it's, what's your name? Next, what grade are you in? So I was always quick to pull the homeschool card. Oh, I'm homeschooled. And then they'd say, okay, and forget about it. Actually, that worked for just about anything. People would remark on how smart, dumb, or weird I was. I'd just say, I'm homeschooled. And they were satisfied. But today, I don't think that's a good enough explanation for why I'm prepared. I can't just say I'm homeschooled. Yes, that had something to do with it, but that was just a tool. The tool that was used to invest deeply into my life. It's not the fact that my parents decided to homeschool me that made such a difference, but their heart behind that. They wanted to be the primary investors in my life, and they did this by giving of their own lives. John 15:13 says, "No greater love has no one than this, than to lay down one's life for his friends." And that's what was done for me in so many ways. My mom could have chosen to get a regular job so that she could have more money, but instead she did what she thought was more important. She wanted to be right there with us, preparing us for life. Then she could have just tried to cram all the facts into my brain and forced me to repeat them like a puppet, but instead she took a more difficult approach. She took the time to find my heart, and then she built it up and instilled a desire in me to want to do well. Well, perhaps it was a more difficult approach. I think it's much more rewarding, because the heart is the driving force behind all that we do. Also, my mom taught me to win in the battles against myself. Yes, she made me do the things I didn't want to do. And as you guys heard before, I used to be terribly shy. I would even get shy around people that I had known all my life. But Mom made me order my own food, talk to strangers, and call people on the phone for her. I remember one time she gave me an assignment to call someone for her, and I thought my life was over. I cried and I cried and I begged her to do it for me. She didn't. So I sat there for hours with the phone in my hand, knowing that my life was over. I had two options. I was either going to sit there till the end of the world came, or till I made the call. Both ways meant death. But after a couple hours, I decided that at least death by phone would be more exciting than rotting away in my chair. So finally I got up my nerve, dialed the number with a shaky hand, and made the 20-second phone call. Mom taught me that sometimes shyness is being selfish. You can't let your shyness stop you from sharing the message you have with others. Also, she saw potential in me. She saw my dreams, and she didn't laugh at them. Instead, she gave them wings. I think we forget how much value our words and actions have. We hear all the time how there's life and death in the power of the tongue, but I don't know if we truly understand exactly what it means. As a shy girl, one laugh would have completely cured me from thinking that I could do great things. But instead of laughing, Mom encouraged the greatness in me. Often we look for extraordinary people, but I think we should look for and encourage the extraordinary and ordinary people around us. Also, my parents gave me direction, and I think that's the best gift I've been given. My dad told me, Acacia, don't go somewhere because it's easy or more convenient. You go where God wants you, even if it's on the other side of the world. And coming from a dad, that's pretty good, because dads don't usually want their daughters to step out the door. But since I had people in my life that told me these things, from a very early age, I understood the biggest questions in life. I knew where I came from, what I was, and where I was going. I understood that there's more to life than what we're living here, that it's about eternity. But while we're here, we have a job to serve God by loving and serving all those around us. And for this, I'm very thankful. I wouldn't trade that education for any other in the world. Sure, I might have been smarter if I went to some top-notch school, but through the influence of my family and all of you, I've been taught the most important lessons. And for that, I'm very thankful. So I'd like to conclude and say that I've learned that there are things that I cannot do, but that I'm not facing the great big ocean alone. I have God's grace, you the people He's put in my life, the lessons you've all taught me. And with that, I'm not going to stay standing here in the sand, even though it'd be easier. I'm going to take that step into the unknown, no matter what the outcome. And I like to end with this line from a song called Ships. I'm not going to sing it, I'm just going to read it. We rest here while we can, but we hear the ocean calling in our dreams. And we know by the morning that the wind will fill our sails to test the saints. The calm is on the water, and part of us would linger by the shore. For ships are safe in harbor, but that's not what ships are for. Thank you.